Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now, here's another one. Make your next career move with a degree from University of Maryland Global Campus. Choose from more than 125 degree and certificate programs featuring online courses, faster onboarding, and no-cost digital resources in place of most textbooks. Get started on your undergraduate or graduate degree or certificate online. No application fee through May 31st. Learn more at umgc.edu/podcast. Certified to operate by Chev.
This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 2737, What to Do When Life Falls Apart, by Cylon George of spirituallivingforbusypeople.com. And I'm your narrator, Justin Malik, reading you blogs every single day of the year, including holidays. Without further ado, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. What to Do When Life Falls Apart, by Cylon George of spirituallivingforbusypeople.com. Quote, I kept discovering new things about myself, and it felt like a defeat. Carl Jung, as cited by James Hollis. So you just turned 40, and you feel like your life is falling apart. You're quite confused because you thought you'd have your act together by now. I mean, you're a bona fide adult with adult responsibilities. You have a few accomplishments under your belt that you're proud of. You have kids, a house, cars, money. But inside, you're a wreck. Because even though things look good on the surface, there's rumblings beneath it all. Maybe you're experiencing your first real failure, such as a job loss or relationship difficulties. Maybe your health is beginning to decline, or you've lost interest in things you once enjoyed and don't quite know why. Maybe you feel alone and isolated. You have no real friends, as all your relationships from high school and college have faded slowly over time. You find yourself in the midst of all your joys and challenges, having no one who you can share the deepest parts of yourself with. You've read dozens of personal development books teaching you how to get richer, smarter, healthier, more zen. You've searched high and low to discover the secrets to better relationships or realizing your biggest goals and dreams. But none of it's working. Your soul knows that what you're facing in this moment cannot be helped by promises of having more at a time when you're experiencing so much loss of hair, brain cells, strength, vitality, control over your kids. Don't get me wrong, you still have much to offer the world, but with each passing year, you feel the weight of those years in your body, mind, and spirit. In an age of endless personal development, you've discovered, quite by accident, the personal undevelopment taking place just below the surface. Life is a series of partings. I heard a priest preach a homily once where he said, life is a series of partings. I was practically a baby, only in my early 20s when I heard it, but the phrase never left me. Even at that young age, it struck me as true. We think of our youth as the time of our lives when we're increasing and gaining so much. We're growing physically, learning all kinds of things, and developing emotionally and spiritually. While this is all true, we're also losing or undeveloping. Think about the big loss of the comfort of a mother's womb a newborn baby experiences, or your lost sense of safety the first time you were bullied, or your lost innocence the first time you experimented with drugs or told your first white lie. Though these periods in your youth are painful, we hardly register them as losses. But as we grow older, we feel the losses more acutely. In her powerful article called The Midlife Unraveling, Brené Brown writes, quote, midlife is when the universe gently places her hands upon your shoulders, pulls you close, and whispers in your ear, I'm not screwing around. All of this pretending and performing, these coping mechanisms that you've developed to protect yourself from feeling inadequate and getting hurt, has to go. Your armor is preventing you from growing into your gifts. I understand that you needed these protections when you were small. I understand that you believed your armor could help you secure all of the things you needed to feel worthy and lovable, but you're still searching and you're more lost than ever. Time is growing short. There are unexplored adventures ahead of you. You can't live the rest of your life worried about what other people think. You were born worthy of love and belonging. Courage and daring are coursing through your veins. You were made to live and love with your whole heart. It's time to show up and be seen, end quote. Brown says that up until this point, we ignore the rumblings, deny them, or actively fight them. But there comes a day of reckoning when we are forced to grow through our losses by finding new meaning in and through them. The summons. Here's the crucial difference between personal development and personal undevelopment. You may choose to undergo some personal development program, most likely to feed your ego, but you have no choice when it comes to undergoing your personal undevelopment program. Furthermore, though it often happens at the inflection point between the first and second halves of life, it can happen at any time. It's like receiving a summons to the traffic court of life. You have no choice but to respond when the precipitating event happens. Jungian analyst James Hollis, in an interview about the experience, said, quote, "For me, it happened almost literally at midlife chronologically, but it's not always that case. For some people, it's the loss of a relationship. For others, it's being downsized at work. For others, it's obligatory retirement or changes in the body that one has to deal with. Or sometimes people just wake at 3 o'clock in the morning, the hour of the wolf, and realize, I don't have a clue as to who I am and what I'm doing here," end quote. Unfortunately, there's no hack to circumvent the experience or make it go faster or easier. It unfolds like a conveyor belt leading you toward the abyss, a conveyor belt without a stop button. The experience is utterly terrifying, but if you surrender to it, you will discover the real you. In the words of Brown, quote, "The messy, imperfect, brave, scared, creative, loving, compassionate, wholehearted me," end quote. What to do when life falls apart. If you've received your summons, don't be afraid. Try not to resist. Surrender to the experience, and you'll experience growth unlike anything you've ever experienced before. You'll have the opportunity to meet and fall in love with the real you. You just listened to the post titled, "What to Do When Life Falls Apart" by Cylon George of spirituallivingforbusypeople.com.
So you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're hunting for a super rare first edition vinyl of a band you're obsessed with, when you're supposed to be working. But this site you tapped on seems pretty shady. And Daryl from IT just jumped up from his desk. Oh no, he's coming your way. It's a good thing built-in malware protection keeps you safe and sound. Not from Daryl though, sorry. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
AT&T connects an ode to podcasts.
Connect the alarm, change the podcast you stream. Connect the snooze, 10 more minutes to dream. Connect the shower, lather up with the news, sports talk, comedians, or movie reviews. Connect with that 3-hour philosophy show. Change the drive into work and traffic so slow. Connect the dishes to voices that glow. Thank you to the geniuses of spoken audio.
Connect the stories, change your perspective. Connecting changes everything. AT&T.
Thank you to Cylon. Come by spirituallivingforbusypeople.com for a lot more. I thought there was a pretty powerful quote in there. He said, "You may choose to undergo some personal development program, but you have no choice when it comes to undergoing your personal undevelopment program." Because the losses we all inevitably face, from actual human life losses to tinier things like small objects, to relationships, homes, and everything in between, those are going to happen at some point. Just like we enter this world with nothing, we leave the world with nothing. And I agree, this realization can happen at any time, not just in midlife. It can be earlier or later. We might have thought when we were younger that we'd have everything figured out by a certain age, only to realize that we have nothing figured out at that age. I really don't think anyone has anything all figured out, including the richest people on the planet. I might even say especially the richest people on the planet. So as long as we can be open about this idea, maybe instead of fighting it, we can accept it. And like Cylon said, then maybe it's possible to experience the best growth ever. If not, we're probably just fighting the inevitable. So thanks again to Cylon for this one. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. And I'll see you in a moment with our weekly bonus episode where your optimal life awaits.